Hi, my name is Sarah Wolf, and today I'm going to be presenting about Google and stupidity. First, we're going to start off with the basics, and this is going to teach you how a child learns to read. When a child is born, they do not understand what letters are or sounds are. They just see them as symbols on a page. So if you give a child a book, they're not going to be able to understand that the B makes ba and the C makes ka, sounds like that. So they need to learn the relationship between the sounds and the letters. They do this through listening to adults talk, and also in schools teaching like A is for apple, like the apple kind of thing. And then once they learn that each letter or each symbol is a letter and each letter has a sound, they can then start blending the sounds together to make words. So then they will be like bed, B is but, E is et, and D is duh. Well, now bed. Well, so now they know that those sounds mean bed, but they don't know what a bed is. So then they have to be able to correlate the words. These symbols make, so the words that are these symbols together make words. And these words mean that it's a bed, it's something you lay in and sleep in. So then the pictures go along with the words. And that is how a child starts to read. One of the main goals of reading is for the child to understand it. So not just to be able to read the words off the page and tell you what they say, but to be able to have that meaning behind the words. So like bed means bed, where you sleep. Apple juice means a drink, knowing what the word means and what object it is referring to. Down here is the website that I got that information from. Okay. Over the years, how we've read and how we've learned to read has changed. In the past, it used to be we were teaching children really young to read, giving them harder book or very repetitive to memorization. So like the Dick and Jane book series is a very repetitive book series. And they learn that how to read the words from memorizing, seeing the letters. Now we've changed it to more of a learning the sounds for the letters and then combining the letters to learn the blends approach. Also, reading has also changed as we got older. In the 1980s, we read a lot more than in the 1980s. We used to read a lot less. That was the era of the television, so everyone was going to sit in front of a TV to get their news and just listen to everything. And for entertainment purposes, instead of sitting down and reading a book, we can turn on the TV and watch a program. Now, because we have texting and emailing and all these ways to communicate with people without actually talking to them, social media, we use a lot more reading now than we did in the 1980s. From this, though, we've also changed the way we're reading. Instead of looking and reading a really big, long book like they would have in the past to fill up their time for entertainment, we're using social media where we're reading small status updates and small like paragraphs and stories, or we're reading short news articles that are getting posted to get our information that we need about what's going on in the world and big events that have happened. And when we get these longer passages, because we've changed the way we've been reading, we tend to just skim through these long passages, not actually reading them, but looking for the key points and the key information so we can understand what's going on in the passage without actually having to read the whole entire thing. And our reading for entertainment has changed a lot. Instead of pulling out a book in print and reading it, we're using ebooks or audiobooks to get that, or we're not even reading for entertainment anymore. We're only reading for information for school and work and things like that. And the entertainment is from televisions, watching movies, playing games on smartphones. Technology has had a big impact on what our recreational free time activities have been. And also, the more of our reading for entertainment is through the social media with the short stories instead of full books. It's very rare that people buy books anymore. You can always just get it online or Google what happens in there and read the shorter version of the book, but you get all the main points. Or they wait until the books get turned into movies, because every major book now has a movie to go along with it. The way we research has also changed thanks to Google. In the 10 years ago, if you wanted to know something, you had to go to the library to look at a book to figure out the information. If you wanted to know more about Abraham Lincoln, you couldn't go on your computer and just Google his name and find a bunch of sites that will tell you all the information. You had to get in your car and drive to the library and then spend time finding books, reading the books, not just skimming for the important information, because you never know what chapters things are in, and it might not make sense later if you didn't read the earlier chapters, missing information there. Or for research paper purposes, they were down in the periodical section, looking at books full of articles, magazines of articles that people have written and done research on to get the results, not just typing in an online periodical to get the articles to pop up on your computer. You had to spend hours finding these books, finding these articles. You didn't have a computer that did it very easily for you. So it takes up a lot less time to research now, and everyone wants things very fast. They don't want to wait for them anymore. And with these long articles, no one wants to read the whole article, so then they're skimming through it, trying to find important information. And if they get the name of the article and who it's written by, they can then go on to Google, or in some of the main points, they can then go on to Google and type that into Google, and it will bring up 15 people that have read these articles already and published a summary of them that is shorter, easier terms to understand, and just has all the main points and all the information you would need from that article. So you don't have to spend 2 hours reading a 25-page article when you can go into Google and find the review that's only 2 pages with all the summarized main points, everything you need to know. And then if you need more information, to go back and you can skim the long article, find that area where it's talking about the certain topic you need more information on, and then read that few paragraphs. There was a study that was done from the University College London. They logged the use of the online databases with the students, and so that's how the students are getting their long articles, research things for the research papers and things. And they had tracked when they open the article, how long they spend on it, and if they go back to it, or if they're just hopping back and forth from article to article to article. And they have found that most college-age students now are doing that. They're jumping onto an article, seeing the length, reading the first 2 pages, maybe skimming through it, getting whatever information they need very quickly by reading the abstract, and then maybe the introduction, and then skipping to the discussion part and going back and filling in gaps where it's needed instead of reading the actual article. And then they'll skip around to another article and do the same thing, getting the basics, the information that they need from it, and then onto another one, never returning back to the articles to try to get more information, or not spending enough time with them to be able to read the entire article. They have also said that there are people that have been saving articles, so you can save them, download them to your computer to be able to use them for whatnot, but they don't have any the information of if they've ever went back to that article or how long they spent, because they are printing it out or saving it onto their computer where they cannot track it. So the question, is Google making us stupid, or is it just changing the way we're thinking, reading? Well, it's kind of an opinion question. It depends how you think. We are definitely changing the way that the youth reads. We're not spending as much time trying to get the information. We are skimming and finding other ways to get the same information. Some people might say that we are getting stupider, not being able to read and not giving, the same research ethics, work ethics that we have had in the past. Well, some other people say it's smarter because they're saving time getting the information they need, and then they can use that extra time that they would spend reading to look for more information, to further their argument, to dig deeper in different articles and get more perspective from more than one article in the same amount of time. So we are able to get more information in about the same amount of time or less time because we're able to skim, not read the whole 25 pages, and then be able to finish our papers or our research projects or whatever we needed to do and whatever we needed that information for. And we get to read more in less time, so we're getting to expand our horizons, being able to look at those things. If we have time and want to just gain information for our own general knowledge, not for an actual project, we have gotten our research done in less time because we got to read more. So we have more time to be able to learn for our own benefit instead of for a project. And we also are able to spend more time writing that paper, grammar checking it, spell checking it, things like that, to make sure our final product is better than what it would be if we spent 4 hours researching and only 2 hours writing the paper. Now we can get that 4 hours of research done in maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours, and we can have 4.5 hours to write this paper and then leave it and go back and edit it and proofread it multiple times to make sure we're not having as many errors and things like that. A computer is nice, it has spell check and that, but it is not everything. Sometimes spell check doesn't work, or sometimes it changes a word where you don't want that word, or whatever. There's still a lot of errors with that, so the humans need to go back and double check and triple check to make sure everything is good and before it's published.